Alright, so today I'm going to be doing two things. First thing I'm going to be doing is playing Snake. And I'm not just going to be playing Snake, I'm going to be being a god at Snake, as you are about to witness. Second thing I'm going to be doing is answering some deep questions. What does society gain from this? Not a lot. In fact, I think society might be worse off now I've made this video. And look, there's 1,000 better things I could be doing. But let's face it, today, I was going to play Snake anyway, and I was going to answer deep questions anyway. So I just call this efficiency. Deep question I'm answering today: should we have capital punishment, the death penalty? Should the state have the right to remove someone from existence just because they've broken a certain law? God damn, that's deep. Ain't nothing shallow about that question. And when you look around the world, I mean, humanity really hasn't come to a conclusion on it yet. I mean, shit, you get caught murdering someone in Norway, and it's just like, oh no, well, you shouldn't have done that. We'll let you sit in this nice prison cell for a few years and you can think about what you've done. On the contrast, you try and enjoy some basic human rights in North Korea. No. They're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill your mum, they're gonna kill your dad, your brother, your sister, maybe even your barber. I mean, they're gonna kill everyone you know. And look, I'm gonna be honest, not sure whether we should base our own rules off North Korea. But it's worth looking into. I mean, should we have the death penalty? Certain people who don't want the death penalty like to say stuff like, oh, every individual offers something to society and, oh, anyone can redeem themselves if you give them the chance. I think that's bullshit. Look, most people are chill, but let's not act like there aren't some people in society who, when it comes to being a valuable member of that society, fucking stink. Like, take this guy called Richard Huckle. You know what his contribution to society was? He nonced on 71 kids! And apparently he also did a bit of photography, but that seems less relevant. He nonced on 71 kids! I did some research here. The average nonces on 5 kids. Do you know what that means? That means even the average nonce looks at Richard Huckle and goes, God damn, you nonced on 5 kids, then nonced on 66 more? No, I'm sorry. This guy's gotta go. And I don't even care if you're worse at noncery than he was, if you're only noncing on 5 kids, on 4, on 3, on 2, on 1. Even if you're noncing on 1 kid, you're still a nonce. You're still a nonce. Why are you a nonce? Stop being a nonce. And if you're not going to stop being a nonce, which they never do, they always keep noncing for some reason, you gotta go. Look, some people might argue, oh, but jail's a fair punishment. They can just sit in jail. I don't like the direction jail's going in. I mean, you got men going to jail for raping women, then saying they're women and they need to go to a women's prison. I mean, how long is it going to be before you got 50-year-olds going to prison for noncing, then saying they identify as 11 and need to go to a young offenders institution? I don't like this future. I'm sorry, I don't like it. No, we gotta get rid of them. We gotta get them out before they can start pulling shit like that. And so that brings us on to another question. The method. How about to achieve it? Again, a lot of different methods going on. I mean, in the modern day, you've got ethical methods like the electric chair and lethal injection. I'm really down with them. I'm more old school. I like the old school methods. And one era of humanity was undefeated when it came to the death penalty. And that is the medieval times. God damn. The medieval times were elite because, you know, that's all they cared about. I mean, if you're an inventor in the medieval times and you go to your lord like, oh, Lord, what should I invent? Should I maybe help improve sanitation? You know, a lot of people dying through that. Should I help improve food production? Could do a bit of that. The Lord ain't listening to any of your shitty ideas. The Lord knows exactly what he wants you to invent. He's going to speak to you like, bitch, stop wasting my time. You know what I want you to invent? I want you to invent a new way to kill people. And you're going to be like, oh, but Lord, there's 1,000 ways to kill people. Well, then make it 1,001. Because, you know, I respect it. In the medieval times, the death penalty was more than just an execution. It was public entertainment. It'd be like you get your boys together, you go out, have a day in town, get some drinks, and watch people get fucking killed. Because what the fuck else are you going to do? And look, you know, that's how you end up with stuff like the brazen bull, because you pull up to the function in medieval times like, yo, who's on orcs? This is going to be like, oh yeah, some 11-year-old kid stole fruit from the market. We're just going to cook him up inside this bull, and when he screams, we're going to get loose. And you know, you could argue that the bull might be a bit too barbaric, although actually, if I was going to a party and I got notified that the 2 choices of music were brazen bull or Ice Spice, I mean, I'm going to be hitting up the group chat like, hey, yo, boys, I think one of you got to make a sacrifice for this party. But shit, look, that's an extreme circumstance. That's an emergency. We're talking about more generally, what should the death penalty be? I think it should be in relation to the crime committed. I mean, take Richard Huckle. He's nonced on 71 kids. Shit, why not just let 71 kids stone him to death? In fact, even better, why not make them the 71 kids that he nonced on? And if they don't want to do it because they're a pussy, like, let the dads do it. I mean, shit, invite the Guinness Book of World Records along, because let's be real, you let a kid who was nonced on dad throw a stone at the nonce, you might be setting a new record for hardest stone ever thrown. Shit, that rhymes. But look, I just think the punishment should reflect the act, and I think that if you let the dads of kids who were nonced on throw stones at the nonce, the world would be a better place. That's just my opinion. That's just how I feel. If I ever get into politics, that's rule number 1. That's rule number 2. I'm going to legalise weed, and then on the day weed gets legalised, we're going to make that a rule and watch some nonces get stoned to death. And look, I'm going to wrap it up there. I understand this question hasn't really been answered at all. I mean, there's so much more that could be answered. Like, what about the cost to the government? What about false convictions? What about for people who aren't nonces? Should murderers get it? Look, that's for another time. That's too much thinking to do for one day. Look, I've done 2 things right here. I've been a god at Snake, and I've answered some deep questions. I've attempted to answer one deep question. But you know what? I'm going to go away and I'm going to think of more deep questions, and then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to answer them.